Halliburton really worked out, huh? Fantastic. So the one trade that I liked the most, the one I sold the first, was the best one after all. Rigatoni from 1298. I haven't done anything since. By the way, Summit, it's 2 days in a row now. Hey, and then Clove too. You guys were mentioning this. This might be a lotto play for tomorrow. Actually, you know, this thing breaks back above today's highs tomorrow. You're looking at 450 calls for pennies. You know, this thing never really moves too much, but if it breaks today's highs tomorrow, gets through the 550, 450, you could be looking at 471, which could be a pretty good play because the options are going to only be a penny or two. $0.02 now. Actually, you know what? You guys feel like gambling? Anybody got $100? You know what? I'm going to buy 50 of these. It's only 2 cents. You know, this thing opens up tomorrow a little strong. These will be at a nickel. And if we actually get a follow through move, who knows? Maybe this will be a 10 bagger. You know what? They're 2 cents. I'm in. Oh, well, there's 2 by 3. Not going to get them at 2, but I'm going to bid 100 for 2. Yeah, why not? Might as well. We've been talking about it for a while. But there's some massive accumulation on the stock since the beginning of the year. Came out of the double bottom Andy Dufresne, double top break, everything you want to see. The only thing that's not good is that the stock is up 35% in the last 6 days, 7 days. But if your stock's not up at least 200-300%, that ain't nothing in this market, right? So my price target now for tomorrow on Clove will be $78, right? I don't know. Let's be stupid like the people on the internet, right? By the way, the Reddit mafia, I don't know if they even call themselves that. They're buzzing about the stock again. Anyway. So I don't know if I am broadcasting, actually. I could be. I might be. I'm not sure. But I'll tell you what, man, knowing when to quit is vital. And those last 3 trades I had on, right? They were all just small wins with small losses. Turned out the Rigatoni was the mistake. Could have bought it back. But the rest of the trades, it didn't really, Halliburton is kind of comical at this point. I got blue line and orange line, yet I decided, I'm not going to sell it. And I wound up selling it anyway. Basically when it broke down. So I just wasted my trade. I didn't lose money, but I was up and I wound up just getting out flat. Basically a waste. Hey, what up, YouTube? So if you're just joining us, you can't hear me. I mean, if you can't see my face, I'm just I don't want to distract anybody. But listen, we don't have many earnings reports coming out tonight, but I'm going to stay live just to show you some ones because I am interested enough. I believe Alcoa is coming out tonight. I'm always interested in what they have to say. KMI is coming out as well. These used to be some of my names that I would trade religiously. I was always trading Halliburton, Alcoa, KMI, US Steel, ATI, Steel, Industrials, Schlumberger. I'm just curious what they have to say. So you got, KMI, Alcoa, and then you got Steel Dynamics, STLD. and about 20 companies I'm not familiar with, and if I'm not really familiar with them, I generally don't trade them. This has been the slowest 2-point pullback, I think, in the history of the Qs. This is one of the most boring days we've had in a while. I mean, it's just a slow bleed from, what is it, 12 o'clock around here? Yeah, 12:30 to right now. Look how long, and this is just one long, awful, choppy retrace to VWAP. And if you were that patient, my God. But, each day we take away a little bit of an education. And what was the education today? Don't trade boring markets. If you don't have any follow through to the upside or downside, you're going to wind up getting chopped up. Let me show you this. And this is why I talk a lot in the chat room. I wanted to express how dumb I was going to be. And I paid for it. Right. So normally when I buy a stock that breaks VWAP and it goes to the orange line, that's the trade. I'm waiting to see what happens at the orange line, but we always take profits, at least 30 to 50% of the trade. When you get today's VWAP to prior day VWAP, you've won. But in this case, I said, nah, I'm not selling. I want to see it break the orange line. I want to see it go green. I want to see it go back to the pre-market highs. So what was I doing? I was speculating, right? I was speculating that it was going to break. Within 3 minutes, it starts to roll over. I already knew I was probably going to pay for my misstep. And again, I disobeyed. If there was a rule book, in which I kind of have a rule book, we call it the brochure. One day we'll print it out for you guys. There's rules. I spent 30 years doing everything possibly wrong, managed to survive. I've had some great years, some awful years. But when it comes to these trades intraday, if you get VWAP to prior day VWAP and you don't take profits, you're doing it wrong. And I chose in this case to do it wrong because I wanted to hold on. I wanted to try to make more money. I disobeyed the rule. That's why when I'm in a trade, I'm always selling into the move and I'm covering when stock, especially if I'm short, I'm covering as it's going down, knowing that the market hardly ever goes down and stocks tend to, rip back in your face. As soon as you're comfortable shorting, that's when it stops going down and starts going up. But even on the long trades, I'm always selling into the move, specifically what you witnessed here on Halliburton. But here's another one of our trades from earlier, J&J, another boring trade, but, again, got paid. First trade was early this morning. Nobody was around, but 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. And then the market opens up and got rejected at the VWAP, So we shorted a little bit, even though I like to buy stocks that are already down. And, we made some money on the short. And then right here, this is what I like to call the faux show bro. You see how it broke the morning support just for about 2 minutes, and then it came right back, and then it tested that spot again. Then it broke VWAP. That's a faux show bro VWAP break. So I bought it here. It got back to the double top area. And in this case, because of what Halliburton was doing, I decided to take the profit on this one. And again, it wasn't a bad trade, but it left a little bit on the table as it's kind of flirting with new highs now. And then you had Procter & Gamble, which, again, same exact trade almost. This one was the short first, double bottom long, short again. And by the way, Halliburton, I turned the winning trade into a losing trade. I lost on the options. I was planning on holding the options overnight. Put a stop on them. And if you know about stops with options, you usually get an awful print because when you put a stop on an option, it usually goes market unless you do stop limit, which I didn't do. And I got stopped at 50. I wound up get printed at 41. So, I mean, it's not a huge amount of money percentage wise. It is. And again, if you have 30 contracts and you lose 9 cents on a 50-cent option, sometimes that's half your trade. That's why I try to do stop limit. I didn't even expect to get stopped out. So I got a little greedy on that one. I just walked away. And by the way, also, that's the let's see what happens trade. Whenever you say let's see what happens, it tends to get worse. Let's see what happens. Oh, okay, I'll show you what's going to happen here. You should have sold it here. Now it's back here. But that brings me to my next point. I watch these stocks now for 2 days. If Kinder Morgan, if KMI is strong today and Alcoa is strong, Halliburton is part of that group. It'll wake up again tomorrow. Oh, wait a minute. Today's only Wednesday. Sorry, friends. I thought today was Thursday. Wait a second. What's today? Wait a minute. What day is this? This is Wednesday, right? Wait a minute. Then how come those Clove options are so cheap? You know what? Now I want to buy those. So we got 2 days for the Clove to do something at 2 cents. I'm definitely going to buy these. The 450 Cloves, I'm going to buy these. I'm putting a bid in for 100 contracts at 2 cents for $200. All right, if I get done, I get done. Let's see. 450. I'm thinking it's freaking. Woo! Somebody that's not that many contracts. 5,000 contracts traded on the 450s. I don't think I'm going to get them at 2 cents, but I'll sit on the bid for the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, this is what I normally do. Stocks go from the blue line to the orange line. They find some support, and then they rally back to blue. That's normally what I do. But with Halliburton, I got, a little greedy. You always do something when something gets to prior day VWAP. That's the whole point of this day trade. Blue line, orange line. It works. For now, it's going on 13 years. By the way, J&J getting to the whole number late in the day. You might, it is breaking the high and a whole number. Let's take a look at that. I'm not really a fan of trading in the afternoon anyway. But if let's say it doesn't break 145 going into the close and 145 remains today's high, I look for it to break tomorrow. I'd rather trade it tomorrow when it breaks 145. So the rumors are true. It wasn't a rumor. I guess Cathie Wood was buying Lunar. It kind of makes me not like the stock as much, almost to the point where I don't want to be in it. But I'll give it a couple of weeks, see what happens. I don't like when she's involved in anything I'm doing. Usually I'm fading whatever she's talking about. So I'm very unhappy. She probably ruined my stock, like Josh Brown ruined PayPal and Roblox. And I don't like when the popular kids get involved in my names. I like when they're obscure and everybody hates them. And then when they go up 300%, then they get into them, then I could sell them to them. So she's getting in at a weird moment. I still like the stock in the 20s, but remember, it was $14 the other day, and it was $2 just 6 months ago. So typical Cathie Wood getting in at 2,000% late and saying that she's disrupting the world. And here is my one loss. I mean, I guess Halliburton turned into a loss, but that was a very small loss. I was bent on short and Summit again, and I tried it, and it broke out. Right here. Where is it? $24. Sorry, 23. He was breaking back under this spot right here. 23.90. I gave it a shot with a tight stop. Wound up getting stopping out. Lost $100 right here. Basically squad douche going on in this whole afternoon. which is all right. I mean, it's still a good day. Managed to short the Qs twice today and live to tell the tale. And of course, Summit's going to roll over now, and now would be a profitable trade, you bastard. By the way, the reason I want to short this stock is that it got upgraded yesterday. I like shorting upgrades because upgrades are usually analysts' scam to get out of the name. So, the stock made that turn. I mean, it was a nice call because at least usually upgrades come when the stock's already rallied 30%. At least he upgraded it here. But generally upgrades, I look for the seller to show up because usually it's just a sell at first day or two. This one kind of caught me off guard. But again, that's what's fantastic about the VWAP. I was short the stock 3 times today. Managed to escape alive, but once it gets over the VWAP and starts breaking, Kardashian bottoms and Andy Dufresne, I'm not staying short. Again, I just let the stock tell me if I'm right or wrong. The quicker you are to admit you're wrong, the longer you'll survive doing this. So here, back to J&J now, breaking 145. I'm not interested at all. But if I was in it where I should be in it, from the 143.50, I'd be selling it to you here at 145. I wouldn't be buying it because I sell at whole numbers, even though, you got, 9 minutes left of the day. Could it rally 50 cents right into the close to prior day VWAP? Sure. It's $145 stock. Moving 50 cents is not a big deal. But, not interested in putting on new trades. But if you bought at 145 break, again, that's classic old school trading. Whole number breaks at the end of the day. You tend to get some follow through. Guys in my office back in the day, they would just buy 3,000 shares of any stock that was breaking a whole number. It would go up a quarter. They would sell it and make $750. Yeah, thanks. All right. That one I would have been interested in. Now, again, if you were staying short the Qs, you are the most patient trader ever because I know you guys were talking about shorting them on that rollover. So 4 hours later, you finally got some follow through. You know what you should be doing right now? Covering. It's finally going to go searching. We were short earlier, assuming that we were going to go flirt with that print, the out of the money print right there. And looks like you're finally going to get it 6 hours later. That's so stupid. What was that? 5. What print is this? It's probably searching for that guy. That's the 430.97 guy. So wouldn't be surprised if you hit that exact price. And that's kind of the trade we were looking for earlier when we shorted the breakdown over here and immediately took us, oh no, we were short from over here. We were anticipating the roll. And you know what the easiest short of the day was? And there was nobody buying. Oh, there you go. There was nobody buying. Nobody. As bullish as everybody's been talking about and how exciting everybody was about it, nobody was buying at all. And its name is Netflix. There was no buying at all. This was just a gap and a fade. And it's faded basically from 950. once it rolled back under VWAP. There has been no buying in this stock at all day. So gapped up on good earnings, and basically the sellers are just taking their profits. I think there's going to be more of that tomorrow. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but I wouldn't take this off the list for a possible short again tomorrow. And wait a minute. No, that candle just now. All right, that was Apple spiking up. So I'll go back to the what I was doing most of the day. If you don't know, the last remaining band member from the band passed away, and this one's going out to you.
When I get over this mountain, you know where I wanna go. Straight down the Mississippi River to the Gulf of Mexico. Lake Charles, Louisiana, little Bessie girl I once knew. And she told me just to come on by if there's anything that she could do. Up on Cripple Creek, she sends me to get my spring of leaf. She mends me, I don't have to see it, but she defends me from the stream if I ever did see one. Good luck had just stung me to the racetrack I did go. She bet on one horse to win, and I bet on another to show. Odds were in my favor, I had them 5-1. And that day the wind came around the track, sure up on Cripple Creek, and she sends me in my spring leaf. She bends me, sweet. She defends me, a trucker's dream if I ever did see one. I took up all of my winnings, and I gave my little Bessie.
So I'm going to be out for bloody revenge tomorrow on the summit. I don't like when stocks beat me. I wasted a lot of time stalking and shorting and covering and churning. I'm going to hammer this thing tomorrow. Now, again, if it gaps up again tomorrow and rolls, that'll be when I short it. So, again, that's what I love about the way we trade. I could come in with a lot of intentions. I plan a lot of trades. Like I'll show you today on Alcoa and the KMI when they come out with earnings, what I'm planning to do. But the next day, I just let the VWAP tell me what to do. So it's great when I come in with a plan and VWAP and price and the motion of the ocean. What's the word? Give me permission to take the trade or confirm my bias. And so far, my bias to the market has been completely wrong, right? I thought we'd have some more volatility. I thought the Qs about 3 or 4 days ago were going to break 495 and maybe test down 10 more points. And since that moment, we've rallied 38 points on the Qs. So, but it's not like I'm short. I used to get my ass kicked when I would be wrong because I would never give up. Now, I admit I'm wrong pretty damn quickly. And what sucks is sometimes you admit you're wrong and look where this damn summit is. This is where I was short in the first place. No, wait, where was I short? I shorted that rollover over here. And now I'd be making money on that trade. Boo. Now, if you're asking why I didn't take the Johnson & Johnson trade, I don't know. It's too late in the day for me to get excited about it. But you're seeing right here, it's like a magnet. That prior day VWAP, the algorithms kick in, there's the Procter & Gamble hitting lows, Johnson & Johnson hitting new highs. So at least we're on the right side of these trades all day. All right, you got a couple of minutes. And there you go. I mean, it's like a magnet. You see how it's ripping towards it? 57. I wouldn't be surprised if you get it right on the penny. Because this is what I talk about when the market's rigged. When I see stocks traveling from today's VWAP to prior day VWAP, and it just happens to get there and hits it to the penny sometimes, I feel like these stocks were pre-programmed to do what they did. And in the middle of the day, it's just the chop convinces you that it's not going to happen, inevitably resolves itself, and it does happen. All right, let's go watch Alcoa. Alcoa. So the top ones are Alcoa. Don't forget about that clove. I really like the idea. I like how those 450s are only going to be 2 cents. I didn't get any, by the way. I'm on the bid at 2 cents, so I don't want to pay 3. If I don't get them at 2, who cares? I only trade when I trade, I get my price if I don't do the trade. At 2 cents, I'm interested. 3 cents, I'm not. Anyway, Alcoa. So normally you get what's called a knee-jerk reaction. That's the earnings per share is released first, right? And then everybody realizes, oh, that's old news because that's what they did already. And then comes the forward guidance. And then you have another reaction on the stock. And then you have the conference call where they talk about new contracts, deals, and all kinds of stuff. And then you have the analysts come along with their MBAs, pretending that they're smart, asking all kinds of questions with big words. And then you get some reaction to that. And all that chop sets up chart patterns. So we let all those chart patterns play out, and then we trade the pattern itself. Because here at the Hit the Bid radio program, we are the universe's #1 pattern recognition traders. So using pattern recognition with VWAP has been a deadly combination over the last 10 years for me. And also admitting when you're wrong. That was a big part of my, reason that I lost, especially circa 2012 to 2015. Nobody was going to tell me I was wrong until I went broke. And then I had to admit I was wrong because I had no money. And, not going to let that happen again, even though it almost happened to me on that UVXY trade. But that was just a bunch of unforeseen circumstance. Perfect storm of awfulness. All right. What are we also looking at? KMI. Most people don't even know this stock. Kinder Morgan. It's in there with the Alcoas, the Halliburtons, almost like another stock that not too many people know about, ATI. And here's another one you might not know, Hexcel. Special place in my heart for Hexcel. If you guys know about carbon fiber, when I was a stockbroker, I was pitching a stock called Zolt. It was a carbon fiber manufacturer. We had a lot of fun. That was when stocks, when they went from 10 to 20 in a couple of days, was unheard of. Now you see it every day, 10 times a day. Back in 1993, 94, if you had a $10 stock that went to 20 in a couple of days, it was a freaking miracle. And there was a company called Zolt that was manufacturing carbon fiber, and they created a new process to do it, and everybody was excited. Anyway, this company owns Zolt now. And then you got DFS, which is Discover. And with DFS, you will get AXP to move, as well as MasterCard and Visa. So you watch Discover, you get a heads up, and you could look at some pin action in the other credit card companies. Yeah, carbon fiber. If you guys are into pickleball, it's everywhere now. Yeah. All right. You also got Steel Dynamics, STLD. Let me make sure. Yeah, Hexcel's coming out tonight. And by the way, if you've known me for at least 10 or 15 years, you know this stock. You know Khaki. This was the hot cocoa stock that she bought when we did an experiment. We threw letters onto her, and we just picked a few letters off her. and it just happened to spell out CACI. We bought the stock, and it's basically been going up ever since. I have no idea what they do, but it was just a weird coincidence that day, and the stock turned out to be a juggernaut. All right, so Alcoa looks like you're getting some up and down chop, but there's nothing really released. This is just they're hitting the bid, they're printing the offer, they're hitting the bid, they're printing the offer. I don't know. I don't think anything's out. By the way, I'm not kidding about that clove. You know, I know we missed a huge percentage move, but in this market, a 30% move in 7 days is nothing. You know, stocks are doubling and tripling and quadrupling almost every other day. So it would be nice to see actually Clove take the day off tomorrow, and maybe we can get those 450s for a penny. That's an interesting gamble. I like it. And if it breaks out on a Friday, you get the gamma burst and all the hedged, you know, the people are unhedged. If it breaks 450, especially if it can get over 470. And if you guys know about the Andy Dufresne, this is a double Andy Dufresne. What? Yes. It's a double Andy Dufresne because you've got the 3-year, you got the Kardashian bottom Andy Dufresne. That's the 3-year VWAP break over the Kardashian bottom. Fantastic. That's why we bought it in the first place. We had some fun with it. We got a little greedy up there. We did some call spreads and wound up giving back half the trade. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. But look at this chart on the 4-year. And it's still, even though you've Andy Dufresne and Kardashian bottomed out of there, you're still in the process of another Andy Dufresne right here. So if we can get over that level again, you're looking at possible, 635 to 750 as it looks. So here's your 3-year chart again. And let me show you 2 on a 4-year weekly. You'll get a better shot at it. Right there. So the next Andy Dufresne level is 688. And if we get through the 688, that's in this mess right here. This thing could get some legs, again, but the easy target would be the, 750 after that. And if you look at lifetime stock, look at the lifetime on this chart. There's 20 years just to give you the whole thing. Here. The lifetime VWAP is 736. We get 736 out of this over the next couple of weeks or months. Not a bad trade. Full disclosure, I do not own Rambus anymore, nor PayPal. If you guys are just joining me and you need an update on my life, I basically own one stock right now, and it's Lunar. I bought more today. I bought more yesterday. I bought a little bit more today on this pullback. I'm a little nervous that Cathie Wood's involved, but I think that just adds more eyeballs to the stock. I just don't like her. She's the mush, and she's coming in really late to the party. So I'm a little nervous, but you know what? This thing was due to consolidate anyway. I still think it's going into the 30s. We'll see. We'll see. But right now, Alcoa seems to be waiting for 415. KMI might have reported. Hang on. Oh, wow. KMI, Andy Dufresne already. Nice trade. DGNX. Oh my God. Degenerate. Oh my God. It's a degenerate stock. DGNX. Are you serious? That symbol is just phenomenal. Where's Howard? We should own this stock. DGNX. Degenerate. Wow. What's the name of this company? Diginex? Get out of here. IPO? It is IPO. DGNX. Holy frickin' fro. What? Wait a minute. Oh, so the closing price regular session was $750. It just broke it now, I guess, right? Dude, did you buy the 750 break? Oh, this is all happening aftermarket. Wow. And there's the VWAP break. Damn. 420 got you 1150. Ha! Like I said, Stocks doubling and tripling nowadays is just common. Well, that'd be interesting to see what happens back at 750. It is IPO. So if you are in the sound of my voice, tomorrow night, I'm going to be doing a session, kind of going over these trades, preparing for next week. I'm not going to be around, so I want to make sure everybody's on the same page, what we're looking for with these gaps and fades and the dips and rips and the, the faux show bros. Spend some time with you guys tomorrow. After the close, yes, and then later that night too. So make sure you're on my email list. Make sure you have an idea where we are. Make sure you know how to get into the room. And if you email me, which is the easiest way, kennyglick@AOL.com. We're transitioning between our old room and our new room, back to our old room. So I'm going to start using the old room for my Thursday night sessions to get you familiar with what it looks like. Plus, we can play music in there a little bit more easily. All right, let's go back to that KMI because I think that one reported. So here you go. Knee-jerk reaction. There you go. So let's see. Kinder Morgan shares are trading lower than blah, blah, blah. All right, great. So there's the headline. The earnings per share comes out. People react to it. That's called the knee-jerk reaction. And then you have the counter trend move. And if you want to think about it, there's a fake out, shake out, and a breakout in the works, right? So again, once the headline's out, I love a negative headline because when you have a negative headline, people think stocks are going to go down. But when they break over the VWAP, they go up. So negative headline VWAP break, I love it. I love buying stocks that people don't like. I like when I'm buying stock that people are saying is going down. That's why Netflix short today was so appealing because everybody was bullish and there was nobody buying it today at all. Right into the close, the stock had nobody buying it. Not once did it break from the, not once since the VWAP break at 10 o'clock. It never broke the downtrend. And I'm surprised it didn't get down another 7 or 8 points, but I'm sure we'll see it tomorrow. Nobody's buying the stock. And I think that's an indictment. Again, I'm always looking for bearish signs in the market because I'm a loser. I look at that as a bearish sign. The Q's closing slightly under the VWAP is mildly bearish, but again, it's very difficult to try to short this market. And or just buy IPOs that you never heard of and buy them when they break 10. And if this thing breaks 1150 in the aftermarket, chances are it'll be 1250. Hang on. I want to just watch this one for a second as I know my buddy's in it. Joe is probably in the stock sitting under his desk praying right now, right? You don't have to ask. I know you're in it. So you see how it hit the 1150? This thing breaks 1150 because it's brand new. It's a blue sky breakout, lack of liquidity in the aftermarket. This breaks 1150 in the next 15 or 20 minutes. It's going to rip again. All right, there's your 1150. All right, let's see if you get right to 1250. Because usually 10 gets you 1250 on these blue sky breakouts. So here's you got to go 1150 bid. You should start printing 1250. Let's see if you get 1250 immediately. There's your 12s. There's your 1250. Thank you very much. I know what I'm talking about. 1250 print. There you go. Bang, cash. Joe just sold it. Thank you very much, Joe, because Joe knows 10 gets you 1250. And you see how it printed 1250? But if you didn't have your order out, you're sitting there going, hey, what happened? Always put your orders out. Somebody just got done at 1250. Was it you? Right? That should be you on the offer. As soon as this thing broke 1150, you should have put your order out at 1250. So now if it goes 1250 bid, the thing goes to 15 now. So don't sell at all. It's very volatile. Obviously, it goes without saying. It's an IPO trading in the aftermarket now. But if you go 1250 bid, chances are you're going to see 15 on the name. And if you've never heard of the 10 get you 1250, welcome to my world. This trade's been working since I've been a trader. 5 get you 750, 750 get you 10. 10 get you 1250, 12 gives you 15. And usually when it's a blue sky breakout, and obviously, and there's only 3 million shares on this. So tomorrow, let's say this thing peters out right now at 1282. Here's what I'm going to tell you to do. Stop what you're doing and buy it. And I'm just saying specifically, let's assume it doesn't break 1282 right now. Probably is going to break 1282 inevitably tonight. Let's say it doesn't. IPOs that break new highs go higher. Trade's been working forever. So if you just bought at 10 and sold it at 1250, like my boy Joe just did, congratulations. You watch the stock. Chances are you'll never see the stock above 1282 because most IPOs are just pump and dump pieces of garbage. They're not doing you any favors by going public. 9 out of 10 IPOs just have one day wonders and then they just fade away. That's why when you see a stock like an ARM or an A-Lab or a Reddit, when they break new highs and they start breaking IPO highs, buy them because then that qualifies the stock as being legit. Because most stocks, again, when they IPO, it's the insiders just dumping the stock onto the public. That's what it is. They're not doing you any favors. Hey, let's go public so everybody can make money on our stock. Nah. For every Google, there's 100 IPOs that you never even hear of after the first day. Anybody remember Select Quote? Yeah, of course. How about I could go down a list of them, a million IPOs. Most of them stink. And we missed the Alcoa, my favorite stock. Somewhere. Well, I'm sure my dad still owns it because he still owns everything. Anyway, all right. So knee-jerk reaction, right? And by the way, the Kinder Morgan, let me just put that chart up there one more time. KMI. Now, I'm not a fan of trading in the aftermarket, but if you see the capitulation sell, the comeback, consolidation, then a VWAP break, then I buy it. It's the only time I trade in the aftermarket. So the aftermarket's, I could trade pre-market better than the aftermarket. The aftermarket's even more illiquid than the pre-market. Pre-market, you actually get real volume. You know, between 8 and 9:30, there's pretty good volume. It's almost like the market's open now. But the aftermarket's still very, very illiquid. You obviously can't use stops. And if you don't have a quick finger and a good platform, you're usually going to get annihilated. Because when the stock drops, a lot of times there's no bid. So let's go take a look at Alcoa, right? Let me show you what we're going to do. So no coincidence that it hit 41. That's what stocks do. They go back and forth between halves and whole numbers. So that's your knee-jerk reaction candle. And what a candle it is, right? So I like to look at the low, 39.04. I'm going to print that right there. And then the first reaction was to 40.97, second candle 40.99. So now these next candles will start forming ranges and patterns. The easy answer is it stays between the first candle and the second candle. And we stay inside, right? So let's say that probably was a real print because you're getting, you get very volatile in the aftermarket. I didn't see it. I'm just taking the chart's word for it. So if you stay inside here, and again, the way I trade is all about if then. So if the stock stays in here, I'm talking about all night tonight, tomorrow morning we wake up and Alcoa is still between 39.78 and 41, wherever these ranges start to form, and if it breaks 41, chances are you're about to go to 41.50. It breaks 41.50, going to 42. So now you just sit and wait, and this is why I come back on Thursday nights when there's more earnings reports, especially during tech season. Tech earnings are usually on Thursday nights. Sorry, I'm not going to be here next Thursday. I'm going to try to get to a computer just to give you a heads up on some of the ideas. But I'll be back on Wednesday. I'll be back on Friday mornings. And then it's just plotting your attack. So for instance, here, let's say this is the turn, right? We know that the bottoms of these candles are now significant if they hold. So you come back at 8 o'clock tonight, you see how the whole aftermarket session played out. You plot your attack. You come back tomorrow morning. You see if those levels are still significant. And then you get ready to push some buttons. And then I look at the long-term chart on Alcoa, see where it's been. Get a view. Here's your monthly. Ran into the number. A lot of times when a stock runs into the number, it's susceptible to some selling. That's the 1 month. Here's 3 months. 3-month VWAP sitting there, right above the 41. That's important. Here's 6 months. And now you see in a faux and a show, fake out, shake out. This could be the breakout stage. Who knows? Next thing you know, you could be looking at the 42.50. It's 420. Smoke them if you got them.
Yeah. La da 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 da. La da da. La da da da. La da da da. La da da.
I was gonna trade Alcoa, but then I got high. I was gonna tie my luck in the aftermarket, but then I got high. Ba-da-ba. Anyway, oh, well, you broke it. So again, I don't trade the aftermarket, but this is just an observation. And these observations and the price action will dictate what we do tomorrow. Now, again, I might still trade this stock because if this rolls, if that 41 double top turns into a full-blown reversal rollover and it breaks the prior day VWAP and the 1 minute right now, this could be a full-blown reversal. I'm actually thinking about shorting it now. See how quickly I could just decide I want to trade, because now it's telling me this thing's got some issues. Now, again, if this was tomorrow and it was the regular session, triple bottom break, I'm already shorting this thing at 40 and a quarter, looking for the pullback. But in the aftermarket, I don't really like to play the ranges. But if it's a full-blown reversal, meaning it breaks the VWAP, multi-day, ends going red, chances are it's going to go down some more. But, again, if you did short a double bottom break, you got paid something right there. But my choice to not trade the aftermarket has been a very good choice, because the volatility, and I'm a seasoned vet. I've been doing this my whole life. I don't have much luck in the aftermarket unless it's a full-blown absolute reversal, meaning this thing breaks 39, goes red, and just starts tanking. And if you've been showing up lately, thanks for coming in. I know a lot of noobs have been involved. You see how we do it, right? We're very specific, very niche, if you will. We have an exact setup every day. Most stocks will only do one of three things: dip, rip or roll, or stay flat. And then we just trade accordingly. There's no fear of missing out. There's always another trade. And some days you just sit here staring into space for 4 hours, and you know what? You probably avoided losing money, because there wasn't much going on this afternoon. And so far, I got to say, it's been a kind of, I'm not going to say boring. The trades are there, but the JP Morgan, you had 3 minutes for the short to work. Bye, bang. You would have got annihilated. The Goldman Sachs was a struggle. There was no fading. Obviously, Citibank was a loss if you shorted it. It was still a difficult trade. Morgan Stanley the next day, really not that much action. So a lot of these stocks are gapping and just consolidating. That's why Netflix today turned out to be the easiest trade of the day, because there was basically no buying whatsoever. It gapped and it just sold off all day slowly. All right, you ready? You guys want to do something while we're sitting here? Because if they start flashing some big size on the bid, that's their tell. So back in the day, if you saw a big bid, what would you think? Well, then again, most people think big bid means there's a big buyer out there. Nowadays, with all the spoofing and high frequency trading and algos, a lot of times when they start flashing size on one side, the stock's about to go that way. You know, it used to be you would see a big bidder, you'd start buying the stock because you knew somebody had your back. It doesn't work like that anymore. Old school tape reading, it's like the opposite now. For instance, if you're in a stock and it's ripping higher and then they start to stack the offers, quite often that's just a buyer. They're just putting it on the box, and you watch the dark pools, you'll see those prints, and the stock starts ripping higher. They're just trying to fool you into saying there's overhead supply. But this one, it looks too easy right now. I think we're being set up for the short, but it just seems like this thing's about to just give way. And now, again, the reason I don't like to trade the aftermarket, like, right, for instance, I could short 400 shares of this right now, right? And I would put a stop at the half. I would put let's say I had 400 shares. I would put a stop at the half, tight, 100. And then I would use the tops of these candles as my stops, and I would define my risk. In the aftermarket, you can't do that. So that's why I don't do it too much. But on the flip side, when you're right, the lack of volume could benefit you because you get a bigger move because there isn't enough support volume-wise. You follow? So when you're right, you really get it right. But most of the time, you get chopped up. And, after doing this for my whole life, I would have to say most of the time I've come out negative trading in the aftermarket. And the easiest answer is, if something doesn't work most of the time, don't do it. And that is the simplest answer. People used to be like, but you're a good trader. Can't you figure out a way to do it? No, sorry, I can't. I've got a trade that works pretty damn well. I don't need anything else in my life. The 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal works every day for 12 years. I don't need to trade the aftermarket to try to prove a point. I know it's risk. I know I can't. I know it doesn't work most of the time. So why try? Just like shorting the Qs lately. Even though I shorted the Qs twice and I managed to survive, and you could have shorted them again later in the day. My cousin Richie, or lose cousin Richie. I should be more careful when I talk about cousin Richie now. Cousin Richie was short and he was up and he wound up getting out for a little bit of a profit, even though he thought he was going to get, he thought he was onto something there. Ooh. Right? And there you go. Somebody bought the Alcoa. You're my hero, buddy. Right? It just felt like a setup. So he bought it instead, and now he's up money. See, everybody's got a different agenda. I love it. I have a friend, we call him Cousin Richie. He still thinks the whole market's a fad. I mean, I'm with, I'm a bear. I think it's all smoke and mirrors too. But man, have I learned my lesson that you cannot bet against you can't bet against anything, really. Shorting is short-lived and you're going to die. I love it. I love the fact that you bought the Alcoa. It's hilarious. Now you should sell it. That should be you on the offer. All right, what else was there? There was Hexcel, KMI, Alcoa, and Steel Dynamics, STLD. By the way, nice sell on DGNX at 1250. My man. Beautiful. I mean, that was perfect. 10 got you 1250, and that's all you got. Let's see. Oh, STLD. Wow, there is just nobody trade. Look, you got 4 prints on the stock. Nobody cares. So you know what? We won't care. There's some ASTS news. Hang on a second. Oh, hey now, ASTS. What's going on? Buy it. I don't know. What? It's under 20. We're required to buy the stock. I don't know. I should just buy the stock. But every time this stock goes under 20, 2 days later, it's at $25. We should just buy it on principle right now. Oh my God. This will be the one time it doesn't work. Oh my God. What is it, an offering or something? Of course. It's always an offering. Always. Half these stocks that we trade, they're one offering away from dropping 50%. Hey, while I got you here, let me show you some other stuff from yesterday. That EDU, right? This was just old school trading also. You know, this is just knowing that $50 is a massive number. Look how it hit 50, 50, bounced, comes back to 50, bounced. What are you going to do when it breaks 50? Crush it. This was an easy trade yesterday. I can't believe the stock was back in the 50s. I thought this was a 50-cent stock. I don't know what the hell, how they reverse engineered this piece of garbage. Yep, there you go. And there's the KMI. So if you were watching, the one reason you want to trade the aftermarket just happened. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Now, new high break, aftermarket high break, VWAP break, buy it. There you go. So there you go. Now, if you were trading aftermarket, there's the one time you want to do it. If you have a knee-jerk reaction down, stock recovers, consolidates, and then breaks the consolidation, buy it. And then if it's a VWAP break, that's your confirmation. And again, you got paid. But again, look what happened. They just dropped the bid and the whole trade's done. This is the perils of the aftermarket. Even when you're right, you might be wrong because you got to sell into the move more than ever because of that lack of liquidity. Look, within 2 minutes, you're right back to where you just had a nice trade and now you're flat. And on that note, I am out of here. Don't trade the pre-market. Don't trade the aftermarket. Right? Exactly. It's a losing game. I've proved it. Right? I know what I'm doing. I've managed to stay in this industry for 30 years. I do not make money in the aftermarket. Therefore, I don't even bother anymore because it's a lose-lose. It really is. Even when you get 3 in a row, that fourth one will crush you. And that's why 24/7 trading is a joke. I hope that it's a failed experiment. They got to shut the market off at some time. 24-hour trading is awful. Maybe you want to let the Q spies trade 24 hours. 24-hour trading is just awful. But in theory, we've always been trading 24 hours. The futures are always open. I don't know. The lack of liquidity, it's dangerous, really. We'll see how that pans out. I don't want it to happen because it might take away from the gap reversion trade that I like. If it's always open, there's really not a true gap to be filled. Know what I mean? All right. Did somebody say to play us out? To play us out. What does that mean? There's no words on it. To play us out. What are we going to play him out? We're going to play out with this. Y'all have a nice night. I'll see you guys in the morning.
I served on the Danville train till Stoneman's cavalry came and tore up the tracks again. In the winter of '65, we were hungry, just barely alive. I made the 10th, Richmond had fell. It's a time I remember oh so well. The night they drove old Dixie down, and the bells were ringing. Tonight they drove old Dixie down, and the people were singing. They went la 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 la. Back with my wife in Tennessee, when one day she called to me, Virgil, quick, come see, there goes Company Lee. I don't mind chopping wood, and I don't care if the money's no good. You take what you need and you leave the rest, but they should never have to take on the very best. Tonight they go Dixie down, and the bell were ringing. Tonight they go Dixie down, and all the people were singing. They went la 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 la.
All right, y'all. If you don't know, that's the band. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll put on some band covers by the Dead to start the show tomorrow. They do a lot of Paint My Masterpiece, and they've done Cripple Creek. All right. Be careful out there, folks. I'll see you bright and early in the morning. Late your son, Menjay.